And I think they just have received that. Yeah, don't forget that.
Have you noticed though, in general, like we tend to call people named Dave or David by their last name. Like I would say Koenig, I would say Wiegand a lot, and obviously we all say Whitley.
That
No one
has
says
to
David
be
Whitley.
that has to be a function of there being so many of them that we have to differentiate them. Nobody would understand which of those people you meant unless you say their last name, perhaps.
Yeah.
Um,
Used to have this
so
problem with Jeremy's. Now I guess maybe it's Dave's.
yeah, a lot of Jeremys, a lot of Jasons as
Yeah.
well. I feel like the Jasons suffer from that same thing. Not a lot of Wills. I think I have benefited quite a bit from not too many other Wills in the Scrabble world. And Conrad, I have to say that not
There's
a ton of Conrads
another
come to mind.
Well, one other one comes to
I
mind.
do.
Is he playing? Is he playing this weekend? He's from.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I
he's
know
from
that.
this state.
Yeah, you're not the only Conrad, but
No, Conrad
you are definitely, when I hear Conrad in a Scrabble context, it's very, hard not to think of you first. So,
Yeah.
so Dave plays Brim from this rack of 6 consonants and only 1 vowel. That looks pretty reasonable. We should note that Brim also takes an A hook in front. A brim is a valid word, so we got to be careful of that. That's something we may see. But back to Eric. He has an R on his rack, and wow, okay, very quickly. So this could be a great example of like Eric's got his feet under him, and he is about to bingo. You see that F48 is lined up on Eric's rack, and he's not going to waste any further time. He's going to play this nice bingo coming down here to start him off on the right foot, although Dave is going to strike back here, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And as he's counting that up, want to give a shout out to Mo, the cool Morris, as opposed to the uncool one.
Hey, Mo Green.
But yeah,
what uncool Morris even is there? I mean, that's...
you can read his little story here, but
he is the uncool one from his story. Oh no, I'm so.
But
sorry.
now he's the cool one. Look at his
he is the
his
cool
username
one now. He definitely is the cool one now.
Yeah.
Mo Green, good friend of us both, friend of the broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
So Studdle, yeah,
and a past champion
of this event. That's a great point.
Event.
Yeah, so got to shout out. It would, maybe between sessions I'll try to put together some kind of like past champions of this event screen to show, because this has been kind of a who's who of Scrabble over the years. So anyway, Dave must have won this event before too, right?
He's won this event, I think, like 5 times.
Like every time. Yeah. So Dave
He's won it a lot of times.
Yeah. Dave, no stranger to winning this. He plays Studdle for a very good score. He's up to 100. However,
and
Dave's his post bingo draw absolutely atrocious for Dave Wiegand here. So this is an opportunity for Eric to try to get some points here. He should be able to do so with his Y and his K. Those are very good scoring tiles. And then we're very, very likely to see an exchange out of Dave on his next turn. So Eric is down in the score right now, but that is going to change in a hurry. As 3 N's, a Q, and a J, not a vowel in sight. At least he has an S to start him off on his next rack, though.
So as Kenji is noting to himself that he thinks he's picked up on a tell of Dr. Bing, one thing, like, tells are a very big thing in Scrabble. But what I'm realizing now is that, I have a tell on Dave Wiegand, for example. He knows I do. But it requires him not wearing a mask. Masks are taking away some of the tells, and that's actually very interesting. If you have a pretty good idea that someone has a bad rack, it can it can influence the play that you make. And so if some of those are affected by wearing a mask, that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's also a really interesting point that in general, this is a major difference from online play, right? Like Scrabble over a board and Scrabble online, that's certainly more similar than like basketball over on a court and basketball online playing a video game, right? Like the two things, the Scrabble online and Scrabble over a board are way closer in their look and feel and all of that sort of thing. But if there were differences, like that's a big one, right? Like seeing the flesh and blood human being in front of you and watching their behavior. Some people really emote a lot when playing. There's a lot that you can learn. So Eric plays yoke. I think we like this play by him. He was probably looking just to make sure, do I have anything any better than this somewhere? And the answer really is no. So Erickson is rebounding from his previous game, and he's made a couple really good plays so far here. Let's see if he can keep that up. And also let's see what he draws here. Ooh, wow, look at that. What's that last letter? Okay, there's some good stuff here for him. And Dave quickly exchanges. That's definitely correct for him with such a unappealing rack. And
is that Oxemia there? Yep.
It is. It is.
It's hiding, but it's there.
Wow, it is there. And basically because Eric...
Oh, my God.
And look at that exchange. Oh, my God, Dave.
Good Lord.
Terrible luck for Dave. He exchanges 5 consonants and draws 5 more of them. So Eric, this is incredible, especially because anoxemia, which it really does seem like Eric sees, he's got it spelled out on his rack. All he has to do is see that A of F rates and note that his 2-letter words still fit there. Dave would have an S to pluralize anoxemia on the triple. And if he had even gotten 1 vowel, he would hammer that spot in response, but he hasn't. So what does he even do once anoxemia gets played?
Yeah,
so
play like Franck or something through it. Something terrible.
Oh my God. So here it comes. Anoxemia is the play here. And man, he's just going to be kind of squirming to try to do anything about this massive hook. Or maybe he won't be that concerned just because, well, let's just see. FVL, I mean, yeah, you said Franck, right? I mean, what else can you even do?
Yeah.
So this is going to be a toughie. Certainly anything that Dave plays here is not going to make him feel that excited. And let's just see what Eric draws. This is a big swing here. There's that S. Oh, man. Wow. Tinsley. Oh, wow. What a draw. So there is... This is huge. Dave Wiegand, through no fault of his own at all here. He's basically had no chance to even do much with a couple of these racks. He is really on the brink. I have no idea what Dave is going to play here. I certainly don't love the play of Franck or Franck's hooking your S onto Studdles, but maybe that's his best play. And if he plays that, he still is going to get hit incredibly hard with Tinsley and FY. So there's there is no escape for Dave here. He's going to get hammered by Erickson's next play, and Eric is already up 80. So
and even if he does find a way to block it, Ethanil's is still hanging around.
Oh yeah, good point. Really good point. So this is just not going Dave's way right now. So we'll see what he ends up playing, but either way, a pretty massive bomb of a play is headed in his direction. So this is certainly looking like a complete reversal of fortune for Eric from the previous game where Dave Koenig was all over him from the get-go. Totally different. That is Scrabble in a nutshell, right? The ability to shrug off what happens in one game, get ready for the next one, and realize that your tiles could be completely different. And Dave exchanges. I think that's probably okay. I think I probably would have put something on the board here. I don't know. It's exchanging is really fine, I would say. But he keeps CRS. And
if you're down 80, maybe just take Franck's. I don't know. There's still plenty of time.
It's tempting, but even Franks is going to get crushed, as you see.
I mean, in this case, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but in many cases it might not, right? It's much tougher to play to the triple after Franks, and you leave LV. It's not, it's not awful. But in this situation, Dave exchanges, Tinsley goes down, and Dave draws the Q without a U.
Can we just call that Q like an O? So close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, carrots or something better. So, wow. This is, a lot of games that have been slightly one-sided. I have every expectation that, we will eventually see a close game on stream. So it's just not happening right now. So Dave's going to play Cot almost certainly somewhere. There it is. One thing about Dave that I tend to notice is like he doesn't really get affected when this happens to him. I don't feel like I've ever bagged Dave Wiegand and had him react in any kind of way, one way or another. Would you say that's accurate to his personality? You've played him much more than I have.
Yeah, I mean, like in a tournament, yes. I mean, like at club, no, we'll give each other a bunch of crap immediately. But no, like he's one of the most even keeled players, and when you have a resume like he does, like
yeah, what do you really need to be worried about exactly? Right. Yeah, you're Dave Wiegand. So yep. But really kudos to Erickson. He's played 3 bingos. He hasn't missed any of them. If you draw them, you got to see them. So he has done that. But certainly a much stronger performance for him in this game than the previous. So looks like he's got Jailer lined up on the rack. Is he going to think of a Brim to play there? That seems like a great, great option to close a lot off. And there it goes. Nice job. So this is not a very appealing board to make a comeback on now.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're Dave, like he was probably hoping he was going to get that a Brim spot, honestly.
Yep.
That was such a, getting a double-double there, such a good way to, embark on a crazy quest to get back in the game, but that just, no.
And it looks like he has unplayable grocers here.
Yeah,
is that,
almost groceries, but not quite.
Yeah, Weibin, we were talking about that Dave is running. He's taken up running, and he looks awesome. So great job to Dave Wiegand. And I was also saying that he is getting tougher and tougher to beat on different anagramming challenges that we do. For example, the challenges on Aerolith. So that's, he's in fine form. This game does not define him. Again, he's going to be 3-3 almost certainly after this game, but no one will be surprised if he is on the podium somewhere by the time round 20 is complete.
Seems likely, yeah. I mean, I will say during the lunch break we did make a stop to buy a bunch of beer. But
okay. So depending on if he loses any more games than this, is that what you're saying? Maybe he's a threat to enjoy himself in ways other than playing Scrabble today. Is that possible?
I think it's possible. Josh Sokol actually bought me a beer during lunch. We shared a sour, so that was cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, obviously, for those watching along, that is Axer Typo.
Yeah,
he is also competing here and will be starting his own streams on this very channel. So if you are an Axer Typo fan and want to make sure you don't catch him on his channel and here, he is going to be basically our first quote-unquote sponsored streamer that we're going to have on a weekly basis for at least the immediate future here. So hope maybe we get a few Axer Typo heads following the channel out of loyalty to him there. So
yeah, some Sokolites.
Sokolites, exactly, like socialites but better.
No one screams socialite like.
Yeah, like Josh.
Yeah, I can't even finish it.
Yeah. So Dave's, I mean, he is sitting in a situation where nothing is really going to revive his winning chances here. He just has to try to come up with some way that will let him cut this gap. We've seen Dave in the first game. Dave took a slightly narrower loss to Walker Willingham. Then he had a huge win in his second game on stream, I believe, against Terry Kang. And this game is shaping up to be just the opposite of that, a pretty big loss for him.
Yeah. Strategy actually just said exactly what I was about to say when you finished talking, which was in a different challenge rule, I'd probably try Grocered here.
Oh, what a nice idea. So a non-bingo double-double through the E of Anoxemias and to the D of Stuttle.
That is not a word.
Not a valid word, but boy, it looks like a word.
Yeah.
And tough.
But I can tell you, Wiegand was definitely thinking in his head, I have groceries through the I and the E.
Yeah. Almost close.
In Clabbers.
Yeah. Very, very close. And Dave, renowned for his ability to find long words of that type. So back over to Erickson Smith. He's got an F and a B. He has some good. I think he's going to get set to play Bine underneath Anoxemias, which looks like it makes some sense there. Maybe a slight improvement would be to play his F there instead, but either way, something like Knife in that spot would be pretty good. But either way, blocking off that E of Anoxemias looks like a great idea for him. That is definitely not a lot of threats on this board, but if we had to pick a biggest threat for Dave to bingo, it would be that E. Maybe the R probably of Torque, actually, as you said. The R and C would be worse, but the E is not. The E is up there, and blocking it makes a lot of sense while scoring pretty well.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Eric chooses to play. Just as a quick note, I would normally be running predictions on who's going to win each game, but this channel, despite having 100 concurrent viewers right now, is technically not an affiliate yet on Twitch, so we'll have to stream a little bit more to get to that milestone, but that is coming in the near future, and we'll see what trajectory we can take for this channel. So it could be really something great for the Scrabble community to have a channel like this where you could reliably expect live event broadcast at very regular intervals, whether it be over the board or online play. So
Will, who gets to be first for this channel when it reaches affiliate?
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, I would not encourage people to, open up their wallets necessarily and start gifting out subs here when that's possible. But I am kind of optimistic that we might be able to tap into a user base of viewers that really like Scrabble but aren't as familiar with Twitch, and maybe we can get a lot of people who have Twitch primes to burn here. So it's not impossible.
Mine is already spoken for, but oh well.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's totally fine. I don't think we're gonna beg for subs here just yet. So
no.
So Eric is I feel like something's frozen here on my end. I'm not sure.
I mean, Eric, from where I'm sitting, Eric is still thinking about Bine.
Okay, never mind. Looks like I got it back. Okay, he's moving. Good. It might have just been my call that was frozen. So, okay, there's Bine. I see it there.
I prefer Beer Info, the anagram of Bonefire. Beer Info. It's like one of the new websites to find info about beer.
That would be a very well-named website indeed.
Yeah.
So, all right, Bine is the play. Looks like a solid choice by Eric. Maybe a possibility of just playing Knife there instead, but that is really splitting hairs at this point. Oh, wow, look at that. There's a cool play. Oh, man, Sidewinder points out a pretty nice play. It's not going to get Dave very much closer to winning the game, but he has a double-double through 3 tiles on the board here. Worsened, which is an apt word indeed for Dave, whose situation has worsened in this game steadily from start to finish. So
yeah, I would like to see him play Wiegsor here, Wiegsor, as in
Dave
Wiegsor.
Wiegsor, yeah,
Dave
something,
Wiegsor.
some variation of Wiegand
Yeah.
maybe would be appropriate just to see if what Erickson would do. He'd probably laugh if he did that, but of course, yeah, we'll see. Studlery. That would be a lot of fun. That would certainly be a nice insertion there. So that is not a valid word, I don't think. Oh, look at this. What a guy. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is just very, very nice, especially with a pretty nice play staring him in the face. Just dropping the W alongside the E of Tinsley would score 26 points, leaving good bingo tiles. But Dave, being Dave, manages to find the really, really stylish play. That's awesome. That is really nice.
That's great. Now let's see if he can hit like a miracle draw down below, maybe.
Yeah, he's close. He's close to geodetic, but not quite. Not quite. Geodetic. Yeah, geodetic would be. So he doesn't quite have that. Is worsened even better? Maybe not. Maybe with the fact that he needs to bingo a bunch of times, he should have kept himself close. But then again, you need the points too. I think he probably needs the points and to get incredibly lucky many times from here on out. Also, it's worth noting, both blanks are unseen to both players. We have not seen a blank tile yet. So maybe Dave can draw one blank and then the other and start to make a huge comeback. I doubt it. I mean, his chances of winning this game have to be in the sub 1% zone right now, but he is Dave Wiegand. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, even Dave, I don't think he'll be able to pull off a true comeback here, but
it's still worth trying to cut that deficit as best he can.
And he will, that's what he is great at constructing comebacks. So even if it's try to come back and only lose by 70, say, he's still good at that too.
Yeah, and in part that is because of his attitude, right? He just does not seem to be affected by games like this. And he doesn't seem to be affected that much either when he actually, like in this game, he really hasn't made a mistake that you could point to and say, wow, Dave screwed this up. But even when he does make a mistake, I feel like that doesn't even get him down that much either, just because he knows that tends to be a rarity for him to make a blunder of any sort. So,
and speaking of which, I didn't ask him. Josh asked him, I think, during the lunch break about Elamroot. And Dave said he just neglected to look through the O. He just forgot. So
yeah, I mean, and that's surprising. But again, those obscured spots are the toughest sometimes. I think if that O was wide open, he never misses that play. It was the X in that spot earlier on that caused him to not consider that O as a bingo lane. So again, this is a previously played game, not one that we're watching right now. So anyway, Eric looks like he is finally getting around to, let's see what he plays. Oh, he's thinking about playing Wagoner, which does make a good deal of sense for him to sort of block off that R and C at the bottom of the board in a pretty effective way. He can score better than Wagoner for sure here. But the nice thing is if Eric wants to get to the end of the game as fast as he can, playing 6 tiles is a good way to hasten that. And it also blocks that R, which, as we were saying, probably the most dangerous bingo threat after worsened, certainly. So I get the idea behind this. Do you think that was too much of a sacrifice over something like Thaw alongside worsened, Conrad?
I mean, yeah, like 100%. I mean, the concept of trying to get to the end of the game earlier is really never a good strategy. You just shouldn't do it. I mean, if you are doing it in this case, it's because you're admitting that you feel like you're an underdog to your opponent and you just want to have less time to make a mistake. But I don't really think anyone should treat themselves like that, right? So
it does, yeah, it does feel like that strategy is usually the one of getting to the end of the game faster is usually born out of panic more than anything. I feel like that's a panicking type thing where it sounds good to you, but you actually incur a lot of risk doing that strategy. I'm just trying to think of what Erickson's thinking.
Oh,
It
is very likely. It's very likely that
not to
I just
say
want
that
to get it again.
he's right. He's not necessarily panicking, and I think either way, he's very, very, very likely, if not a lock, to win this game. But he's probably going to win it by much less doing that than he would normally, and it's still important, right? It's still no matter where you are. Oh, there's that blank though. So there, finally, the first blank has come out to play, and yeah, we'll just have to see.
His rack is literally "Fu Dave blank," or is not Scrabble, but Scrabble with numbers.
That's a great point. Yeah,
Dave full.
Dave full. Yeah, he could potentially play Dave full somewhere, as a moving trolling tribute, but instead he's gonna play what does look like the correct play of Fauve leaving D blank, which is definitely strong. The question is Dave going to continue to open the board in the hopes of eventually cutting his deficit, or is he going to be okay to just leave the board more or less as it is, knowing he's not likely to win this game? Still, the C of torque is pretty tempting. If Eric not only has he drawn, look at all this. Wow. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So that is
Sads.
quite the rack. Yeah, Elder Word, let me get that information for you here. I have it here. I will put it up on screen momentarily for you. The tracking. We have the tracking set to basically start kicking in the second half of the game. So
we must be in the second half of the game by now.
Yeah, I think I have it now ready to rock. Yeah, there it is. So this is from Dave Wiegand's perspective. So we'll shift it back to Eric's perspective once Dave plays. So from Dave's POV, you can see both blanks, one of the S's, the Z, no E's though. Looks like all the E's are on the board already. Is that true?
It seems like it's tradition now, right? Like a few games already.
Yeah.
That like already no more E's.
Oh man, and look at that! People are pointing out Cruzados and Erickson
Zardums is even
Zardums, better. but Eric's Zardums is slightly better, but Eric definitely sees Cruzados because he has it set up on his rack. So I don't think in any circumstances here is the C of torque getting blocked, and Eric is going to get a just massive bomb of a bingo at the bottom of the board. So this game has been all Erickson Smith here against the former champion, Dave Wiegand.
I mean, that's how it works.
All right.
The Nigel Richards Apocrypha, because I don't know if he said it or not actually, but Scrabble's all about 25%. You have no chance. 25% of games, you're just going to win no matter what, and it's what you do about those other 50%. Don't know if he actually said it, but so I've been told. I'll let Wiegand or someone who might be closer to the original comment.
I don't know if he said that either, but I do know that if you look at Nigel Richards' winning percentage, it's like 74.9% or something in his career, or like 74.8 or something. Some number that basically perfectly confirms this idea that if you win every game that skill can possibly decide, you can get up to 75% even against really strong opposition. Mm-hmm. So Cruzados is an absolute hammer of a play. Let me update some of these numbers and letters here for you guys.
And I can tell you right now, Dave is thinking, see, there's finally a head shake. He's thinking sad because he sees the SAD, and Dave does love to say sad during games when he's losing.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's see. So this is now the situation that Dave is facing. There we go. So only a handful of tiles left in the bag. Looks like 4. We'll see which of those. And Eric draws figural right out of the bag. And that word fits alongside Tinsley. Oh my God. It just goes from bad to worse for Dave. The only
So,
question is, I think Dave's going to block it by
yeah.
playing Fusey at the top of the board.
And even so, like one of Dave's biggest strengths I've noticed lately, in our hundreds of games we played, well, not this year, but in 2021, is he's really good at intuiting, the most likely place to preemptively block. He's gotten very good at that.
That's a little bit scary for the rest of the world that Dave is learning some of these really good defensive principles.
Dave is like getting good at defense, and it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, so that's but look at this. In this situation, he plays Vicar at the lower left. So this is a big question. Okay. Is Eric gonna see figural here? So Vicar doesn't really do too much other than score, right? It doesn't block any major threats. So this is basically as demoralized as Dave can get. And Conrad, we see our friend Puneet is on Dave's rack. I wonder if Puneet is in the chat there, but yeah.
Puneet is playing in the tournament, so
okay, so he's definitely not then.
But so. I will send one of our friend group.
Yeah, got a screenshot this. Of that. Yeah. Okay, so wow. The only question here, will Erickson see the 7-letter word on his rack? And if he does, this is an out bingo for him. So the bag is empty after Vicar. There were 4 tiles in the bag, so we no longer have any need for tracking. We just see that Eric's got figural and Dave has Puneet, and that's it. So, yeah, not a lot to think about here. If you see the bingo, down it comes, and the game is going to end. If that does indeed happen, Eric's going to win by 300 points in this game. Okay. Maybe he's just getting ready to play Frug to the F of Fauve, or from the F of Fauve. So maybe a missed opportunity for him here. But really, he's nailed every other opportunity he's had. A lot of bingos for him. F8, Anoxemia, Tinsley, and Cruzados. Just very well done. So, yeah, he's not looking. Figural definitely looks like it's going to get past him here. And that is some small consolation, I guess, for Dave. Not that he's going to know or care about that. So Frug is the play for Eric. So this tournament, I believe, Elder Word, is taking place across 3 different ballrooms. I believe.
So I missed. Yeah, I'll butt in.
Okay, great.
A larger room than ever. They added a 3rd ballroom, but the ballrooms are all combined. You'll kind of notice that half wall to the left behind Dave. It's like kind of half closed off. But basically, this allows them to have maximum spacing between games. And although I haven't personally gone into the tournament room today with all the people in there, it does sound like people feel pretty comfortable with all the distance between all of the games. So it is 3 ballrooms instead of the usual 2. And if you've been to this tournament before, it's usually pretty tightly packed because you have 100 and some people who want to play, and they kind of max this tournament out most years. So that's kind of the deal.
Yep, my memory of the last in-person Crescent City Cup in 2020, I was able to attend, and I remember feeling like it was, I think there were upwards of 120, maybe even 130-ish people, and it did feel like there were lots and lots of people in a closed space, which at the time, that's not a big deal. I didn't mind it, but... yeah, definitely looks like a little bit of a different vibe this time. But anyway, final score here, 583 for Erickson Smith against Dave Wiegand's 320. So that's going to be a tough one for Dave Wiegand. That's a lot of spread that he just got sort of stripped of in this game.